It's so unusual compared with all the other cars around it that it automatically becomes a status symbol.
Hello and welcome to this week's minor service on John's Garage. This week we'll be taking a brief look at the history of the original Mini. It'll be brief because for such a small car, the history is immense. For this video, I'm going to focus on the development of the Mini rather than production, which is well known and written about. I would, however, love if anyone in Ireland has a comprehensive history of the original Mini as built here from complete knockdown kits. And if that person would like to contribute to a future video, either through discussion with me, maybe a short recording, or just informing me and I can retell the story, I'd be very, very grateful for that. If anyone feels they might be able to contribute or help out in any way, please email johnosgarage@gmail.com if you'd be interested. Also, I'm going to say this right at the very start. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, of course, to watch right to the very end to help push this Irish developed content right up the YouTube algorithm so more people can see us and enjoy us.
Cut it out, will you?
It goes up and down.
I know. Can we go now?
Okay. I like it going up and down.
All the new Minis have wind-up windows.
Okay, so let's get started. There's nothing like a crisis to spark the ingenuity of people to find a way to help them overcome. And so it was that the idea for the original Mini was born out of the oil crisis brought about by the Suez Crisis in 1956. With petrol rationing in place in Britain, the British Motor Company, or BMC for short, realised they and consumers needed a frugal family car if they were to remain competitive in the market. It also just so happened that small cars from competitors were becoming increasingly popular, such as the new, for 1957, Fiat Cinquecento and various bubble cars from Germany, including the Isetta and Heinkel, which were becoming more popular in the struggling post-war economies of Europe. Lord Leonard, the head of BMC at this time, detested these diminutive foreign imports and took it upon himself to rid these from British streets with a properly designed small car which would have enough interior space to perform adequately as a family frugal car. For those of you old enough here in Ireland to remember when safety was a word to be laughed at, you'll recall that the Mini came with seating for 5, which in Ireland meant 2 adults and approximately 8 children could be bundled into the back and accommodated comfortably for a day trip to Spanish Point. Of course, things have changed massively since then. Lord Leonard charged his recently acquired chief designer, Alec Isagonis, to design the new and innovative small family car. Alec had been working on a medium-sized car for BMC since joining from Alvis in 1955, and he was very happy to move to the far more technically challenging small car project. Work began in October 1956 and the completed design was signed off and approved for production in July 1957. This was to be a simple, cheap to maintain and affordable people's car for all, but that didn't mean it couldn't be revolutionary. So what made this car revolutionary? Looking under the bonnet, you'd find the stalwart BMC A-Series engine, which was hardly innovative by 1959, but looking a little closer, you'd see that it's been transversely mounted to save space. As for the radiator, that's not actually mounted behind the chrome grille at the front, as you might presume. Nope, Alex had put it to the side, tucked in beside the passenger side front wheel to save space. Air for cooling entered through the large chrome grille at the front and was redirected through the radiator and out into the wheel well, assisted of course by the engine fan. That wasn't all. The 4-speed manual gearbox was mounted to the engine sump and shared the engine oil for lubrication. Again, saving space in the cabin with no transmission tunnel now needed, robbing passengers of much needed space. And as you can guess at this point, unlike other small cars of the time, such as the Morris Minor or Beetle, the Mini was front-wheel drive. This packaging was hugely innovative for such a small car at the time. A segment largely seen as being unprofitable and ignored therefore by most major players such as Ford. The packaging used in the Mini went on to be replicated by a huge range of manufacturers including Fiat, Honda and Toyota. During development, the 948cc version of the A series engine was fitted for testing and development. With a top speed of over 90 miles per hour and a horsepower of 37 horsepower, that was deemed by Alekis Agonis to be unnecessary and not in keeping with the purpose of the Mini concept. Engineers, however, reported it was fun to drive, certainly the spark for future imaginations, one would assume. The engine size was dropped, therefore, in the production version to 848cc's, which brought power down to 34 horsepower. However, it also reduced torque greatly and dropped the top speed to about 75 miles per hour. Still class leading, however. Combined with a body width increase of 2 inches, therefore a weight increase, the Mini now had more than enough power, comfort and safe handling to adequately perform as a family car, not a sports car. There was more innovation to come, however. Just how do you create a comfortable and compact suspension system in such a small car? Alekis Agonis turned to his friend Dr. Alex Moulton. Dr. Moulton designed a compact system of rubber cones instead of springs. Combined with wheels at each corner, low weight and a low centre of gravity, this suspension system resulted in a bumpy, maybe somewhat choppy ride, but to others it was go-kart-like handling, depending on how you looked at it. Either way, customers loved it. An interconnected fluid system was planned, but due to short development times, it didn't make its debut in the Mini until 1964, having previously debuted in 1962 in the Austin 1100. Innovative touches didn't stop there, however. 10-inch wheels were developed specially by Dunlop for the car. Initially, Alekis Agonis had requested 8-inch wheels from Dunlop, but both parties settled on 10 inches. Other innovative and space-saving features were employed, such as sliding windows to improve elbow space, as doors could be single-skinned, large door bins facilitated by a bracing bar to strengthen the single-skin doors, and rear seat accommodation bins were also used to increase rigidity of the shell. The boot was bottom hinged to accommodate bigger suitcases, as they could simply hang out at the back on a trip with the boot lid left open. How convenient. The Mini used a monocoque shell with hinges for the doors mounted on the outside again to increase legroom for front seat passengers. This also had the added benefit of simplifying construction, which not only saved cost but also made it possible to consistently produce good quality cars from complete knockdown kits in foreign markets, including Ireland. The Mini was officially shown to the public on the 26th of August 1959. With over 7,000 cars pre-produced for launch, it was possible for BMC to unveil the car on that day in over 100 countries. Originally, the Mini was sold under the Austin and Morris brands owned by BMC. So where did the name Mini actually come from? As an Austin, it was badged the Austin 7, with the V in the middle in early days being the number 7. Morris already had the Morris Minor, so in order to show it was a smaller car again, they badged it the Morris Mini Minor, or simply the Mini. And so a legend was born. Thanks for joining me in this brief overview of the history of the Mini. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and feel free to share this video with others. Thank you and bye-bye.